want to be here today? He said, man, I feel very uncomfortable. And they kept asking him about the conversation, but he said he doesn't recall. He said, counsel stated that my investigator asked about a struggle for the gun, right? He said, yeah. He said, after you heard a gunshot, did you see a struggle? He said, yes. He said, did my client struggle with the person that you saw closer to the muzzle flash? And he said, yeah, but then he was like, they all struggled. And then he corrected him and said, I didn't see no gun. I just saw a muzzle flash. They said, you remember that one girl fell. And then you said that the guy got out the back of the car. And he said, yeah. And they continued to argue, and then she fell to the ground. He said they all was fighting. So they said when the shots were fired, you saw my client get out after shots were fired, right? He said, yes. He said, prior to my client getting out the car, did you hear the gunshots? And they objected because I was like, you already asked that. They said the video going in and out. You cannot hear me? You can't hear me, or can you not? Hurry up, please. I don't have time. You can't hear me or no? Can you hurry the fuck up? Okay, so that was it. They brought in, they brought in Officer Diaz. We've already spoken to Officer Diaz, but Officer Diaz comes back. They said, were you involved in the investigation for a domestic situation? He said, yeah, we got a call about a shooting. They said, as you got to that location, did you talk to Sean Kelly? He said, yeah, I did. He told me that he looked out of the window and he saw a Cadillac with the rear door open, and he saw women fight in and outside of the car. And it took me about 15 minutes from that phone call for me to get there. They said, did you ask for a description of the shooter? He said, I don't recall. He showed him the paperwork. He said, no, I never asked him about the shooter. So while they sitting up here trying to paint a picture that you never said that it was a woman that shot, he was never asked. Let's be very clear. Okay, Detective Stogner is now on the stand. They said, you the lead detective, right? And they say, yeah. They say, you in charge of follow-ups, huh? He said, yeah. They said, July 16th, did you follow up with Sean Kelly? He said, over the phone. And then they said, when you spoke to Mr. Kelly, did he give a description of the shooter? They said he didn't know who the shooter was, but he said that the muzzle flash went off closer to the female that opened the door and began fighting with the other woman. They said, what about my client? They said he described a short guy and a tall guy. Okay, because obviously he don't know who the fuck these people was. They said, Detective Stogner said, the witness said that he specifically said he could not tell who fired the gun. Despite anything that he might be saying right now. They said, according to the statement, he said that a woman was closer to the muzzle flash, and he ain't say anything about the shorter guy doing anything, and he didn't say anything about the shorter guy having a gun. They said, you were there to investigate, right? Did he tell you anything about my client doing anything? He said, no. He said he told me that they got back in the car, but he was certain that the muzzle flash went off near Kelsey. Right? Okay. What? If you want fine skin, work for it. No, bitch, just put a filter on when you go on Instagram. It'll be fine. Wash your face, but yeah, it'll be cool. So anyway, they said, you spoke to Megan, right? He said, yeah, over the phone. They said, with who? They said, with the attorney and Desiree. They said, did you ask Megan if she was intoxicated? And then they said she mentioned that they had alcohol at the party, but I never asked her how many drinks she had or if she was drunk. And they said, why the fuck didn't you do that? And then he said, I don't recall. I just didn't feel like it was something that was relevant to the situation. I'm still going to do this live. And if y'all can't hear it, I'll just go over the information later because I don't have time for this. They said, did she tell you that she never argued? Did she tell you that she argued with Kelsey? He said, she said that they all argued over leaving the party. But Megan told me that she primarily argued with Tory. No particular argument with Kelsey. She never said anything about a fight or why they argued. And they said, why didn't she tell you that? He said, based on her statement, she claimed that the fight was between her and Tory. They said, do you know if they got in a fight? He said, no, because Megan never told me that. I'll go back over it. Stop telling me the same thing. I'll go back over it. They said, did she ever tell you that Tory offered her $1 million in that interview? He said, Megan never told me that that he offered her $1 million. It was no mention of $1 million bribe to Megan or Kelsey. They said, did you look to see if Tory was under probation? He said, yeah, and he wasn't. They said, was there any mention of a fight from Megan to anyone that interviewed her? They said, no. They said, did she tell you that she didn't want to make false allegations? They said, yeah. He said, she said, I didn't even know I was shot, and I didn't want to get anyone in trouble with false allegations. They said, does your report mention George Floyd and bribery? They said, no. They said, are inconsistent facts important? He said, yeah. They said, did Megan tell you that she made a phone call to her manager at the bus stop? They said, hold on. Okay. Okay, duh. They said, yeah, inconsistent facts are important to me. They said, did Megan tell you that she made a phone call to the manager at the bus stop? He said, I don't remember that. They said, was there any proof that she called her manager at the bus stop? He said, no. They said, did she tell you that Tory got her back in the car? He said, I don't remember that. They said, did Megan tell you that they stopped at the bus stop? He said, not in my interview, she ain't said that. They said, who you talked to? He said, I interviewed Sean Kelly and Megan. He said, and they gave 2 different stories, huh? He said, yeah. They said, do you know if he knows, any of the people involved in this case? He said, Sean Kelly said they strangers to him. They said, so he's completely unbiased, right? He was like, yeah. They said, which direction did Megan say she went to that she went when she got out the car? He said, to the back of the car. They said, so she was walking southbound facing the back, right? He said she would be facing the south, which would be towards the back, yeah. But she claimed that she turned around. He said, and she never spoke on her fight with Kelsey. He said no. They said, was Megan the only one who said that she heard someone say dance bitch? He said yes. Nobody said a damn thing about dance bitch. They said, do you know the difference between bullets and bullet fragments? He said yeah, and then he explained it. He said the bullets come out of the damn cartridge and they come out and they hit you. The bullet fragments is when the bullet break up, basically. Okay. Then he was done, cross-examination. They said, Sean Kelly, how long was the interview that you did? How long was the interview, Stogner, that you did with Sean Kelly? He said 3 to 5 minutes, and I didn't take no notes, and it was on the phone. I just was doing a summary and going over what he had said before. They said, did he ever say that he saw a female shoot or have the gun? He said no. They said, did you do a follow-up about Tory? He said no. He said, you met with Megan on July 16th, 2021, right? I'm sorry, you met with her in July on the 16th, and then in 2021, correct? He said, yeah. He said, and on that day, did Megan say that Tory shot her? He said, yeah. And she said that she was scared and in shock. They said, and at no point did she say that she didn't know who the shooter was, right? He was like, no, she didn't say that. But he had just got done saying that she didn't want to make false allegations. They said, in 2021, did Megan say that she walked southbound? He said, that's what I concluded based on the direction that she said she went versus what a car actually was. They said, she said that Tory shot her and that he pointed a gun at her and he shot her. And then she turned her head, not her body, and she clearly saw him. That's what she said. They said, do you know Quan? And he was like, yeah. And he said, Jaquan and Kelsey did not want to talk to me at all. They said at that point in 2021, did Megan mention that Tory offered money? He said, yeah, at that point, she said he offered $1 million. They said, how was Megan behaving? They said she was very calm, somber, and upset. And at a certain point, she cried. And then they said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And then everybody is going over whatever they want to go over. Okay? So when we get back, then we'll get into it some more. I'll go over all of this when I can. I don't know why it's fucking up. Well, yes, I do. But we'll get into it, and I'll go over all of this shit. Okay? Okay? But y'all basically understood, like, what I said. And y'all got it, right? That's how that happened. So y'all good? This shit delayed, but I'm trying to let y'all know what happened. Okay. So, I'll let y'all know when we go back. Okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm blocking whoever I see. They said she can see next to you with them shades. Yeah, bitch might be able to see your ass next. So, yeah, we'll talk later, okay?